the American classic, now wrestling in my 5th straight decade. And if you're listening to the Dave Dynasty Show, well, you must be in the know.
Hi there, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls. We have a tremendous wrestling card for you today here on All Star Championship Wrestling with the four speakers, the world's greatest wrestling.
My little itty-bitty bruiser buddies.
United States heavyweight champion, Bobo Brazil. The world's heavyweight champion from the AWA, Nick Bockwinkel.
The Midwest supporting, bruiser loving, positivity spreading, world's most dangerous podcast. Join former pro wrestler and promoter Dave Dynasty as he supports and promotes Midwest pro wrestling. Keep on growing with the Midwest Express. This is the Dave Dynasty Show.
Greetings and welcome to the Dave Dynasty Show. I am your host, Dave Dynasty. Thank you for joining us for another fun-filled episode here, providing you the best in Midwest professional wrestling coverage and history. And today we have a great episode, because today we are paying special tribute and remembering Ox Baker. We're going to talk all about Ox, his career a little bit, and have lots of classic audio content, which we like to do here on the Dave Dynasty Show. Before we do that, though, let's take care of some business. One of our sponsors here on the Dave Dynasty Show is PowerSlam.tv. You need to check them out. They have over 100 different independent promotions, over 4,000 hours of content on PowerSlam.tv. You're guaranteed to find lots of content to watch and go down the rabbit hole and just lose a weekend in watching independent professional wrestling. And here's the best part of it. If you sign up and you use the promo code DYNASTY, you get 1 month for free. So go to PowerSlam.tv, use the promo code DYNASTY, and get 1 month for free. Whichever way you listen to us and whatever platform you are using, make sure you subscribe to us and follow us. Share our posts and all these episodes and everything we do on social media. Here coming up soon, we'll have the break, which will tell you where you can find us on social media. Make sure you follow us on all those platforms so that you can keep up with everything going on in the world of the Dave Dynasty Show and the Midwest Express. But here is where myself will be in the next few weeks out there in the world of independent pro wrestling. Coming up July 20th in Muncie, Indiana, I will be there for Delaware County Championship Wrestling. I will be live streaming, doing some commentary, and just meeting the good old folks of Muncie. It'll be a great show there. August 7th, I plan to be in Indianapolis, Indiana at Upstart Pro Wrestling. I will have a table there spreading the good word about the Dave Dynasty Show and letting the people know all about what we do. September 7th in Chicago, Illinois, I will be covering Ring of Honor Wrestling as they return to the Chi-Town area. And then on November 2nd, I will return to Chicago for the Major League Wrestling debut on pay-per-view. Again, that is November 2nd. Those tickets are available, so make sure you get those. And if not, make sure you catch them out on pay-per-view. Support what they're doing. Major League Wrestling is doing some very good stuff out there right now. So make sure you check them out. That's all I got. We're going to take a quick break here and tell you all about how you can find us on social media, how you can follow us, and where you can stay informed. And when we come back, we're going to dive right into that tribute to Ox Baker. So stick around. Hey, make sure you visit DaveDynasty.com. That is your central hub for everything within the world of the Dave Dynasty Show. From there, you can find links to follow us on all of our social media accounts. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube, which you will want to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have lots of classic wrestling, every episode of the podcast, and other exclusive features there. While you're at DaveDynasty.com, check out the links to help financially support the show. That is how we keep this free every week. You can go to ProWrestlingTees.com/The Dave Dynasty and buy a shirt to help us out. PayPal.me/The Dave Dynasty to make a one-time financial contribution. Patreon.com/The Dave Dynasty to make ongoing monthly contributions. Or you can click our affiliate links for Amazon.com and HighSpots.com. No additional charge to you, but it helps us out. Thank you for your support, and check out DaveDynasty.com. Complete your experience, The Dave Dynasty Show. All right, and welcome back, and here we go. Let's dive in to the life and times, and remember Ox Baker. Douglas Allen Baker was born on April 19th, 1934 in Sedalia, Missouri, but he grew up in Waterloo, Iowa, which is obviously very well known as an amateur wrestling town. Douglas was the oldest of 5 siblings, and he wrestled, he boxed, and he played football in school, and then went on to play football for 2 years in the armed forces. He was trained for professional wrestling by Buddy Austin, Pat O'Connor, and Bob Geigel, and debuted in 1964 in the Kansas City territory. He eventually wound up in 1967 making some appearances for the WWF, where he was a babyface, and wrestled Gorilla Monsoon. And this is where his perception started to change, and he decided that he needed to change his persona, become a villain, and that would make him more valuable and more in demand when he toured the territories and got out there and worked. So he adopted the name Ox Baker as a villain. And the good thing about Ox, or I guess one of the I don't even know how to describe it. He always knew what his limitations were, right? And knew what his strengths were. He always knew he wasn't going to out-wrestle someone in the ring. He knew that his strengths were his appearance, his size, and his talking. So he utilized those to make a lot of money as he traveled the territories. He developed and began using the Hart punch, which he would later claim killed 2 men, which added to his persona. Now, it was proven these 2 guys that died, it was no result of the Hart punch. But obviously in professional wrestling, you're going to, things like that are utilized oftentimes, and Ox used it to enhance his villainous character. He traveled all over, like I said, the territories, headlining usually against the babyface champions. And he found himself doing a stint in Indianapolis, right? Our favorite promotion here on the Dave Dynasty Show. Working for Dick the Bruiser in the WWA. And on August 19th, 1974, Ox captured the WWA title in Indianapolis from Cowboy Bob Ellis. And here's our first classic audio clip. This is Ox Baker. This is an in-ring promo he cut that was televised on the WWA television program. Sam Miniker, which you don't really hear Sam, but Sam is leading the charge, holding the mic for Ox here. But this is Ox Baker as the WWA champion in 1974 in Indianapolis.
I didn't come here to make friends. I didn't come here to kiss babies. I came here to show you the greatest wrestling machine in the world today. And you people have got to believe it is Ox Baker, because I believe it's Ox Baker. Sam here believes it's Ox Baker, and every person in that audience knows. Did you see the way that cowboy? Ladies and gentlemen, I did you a favor. He's run his last race. He's roped his last horse, and now the only thing he can do is go in the backyard and milk a few cows, because he don't belong in wrestling. He doesn't belong in the same ring with Ox Baker. Do you agree with that, Sam?
I do not agree with it. I do not believe that you're the greatest, because your victory was not a clear-cut victory. Remember that. And you know the stipulation is that he will have a rematch, and we have a rematch. Our next event here will be on August 31st at the Expo Center, and you will give this man a rematch, and I'm sure he'll win that title again.
All I can tell you people is, if Cowboy Ellis, if he wants to step in the ring again with me, if he wants to feel his elbow upside of his head, if he wants to feel his nose being smashed, if he wants the blood to run down his head, of course, I am a wrestling champion. I am a wrestling machine. And I don't care if it's Captain Kangaroo or Bob Ellis or any of them clowns. All they have to do is step in this circle with Ox Baker. I am going to order right now, myself personally, an ambulance to be out here back, because I can promise you people, the next time that I step in a ring with Cowboy Bob Ellis, He's going to need an amulet. And if you get in my way, Sam, you're going to need an amulet also. What do you think of that?
I think, Ox, I believe, and the fans believe, that Cowboy Bob Ellis is a far superior wrestler to you.
Do you see that, Sam?
Your victory was a fluke.
Do you see them fans out there? They hate me. I disgust them. They do not like Ox Baker. As I told you before, when the people don't like me, when the mothers start writing in that they don't want their children to watch me, then I know the fabulous Ox Baker is getting his job done. And I can only tell you right now, don't bring your autographs up here. Don't start any fan club. Don't do anything for Ox Baker, but watch me beat these people up in the middle of the ring. Beat these people up. Hurt them. I love to hurt people. I love to hear the screaming, the yelling as they lay there in front of me, and I can beat on them and beat on them and beat on them and beat on them.
So there you go, Ox as the WWA champion in Indianapolis, and Ox was kind of the perfect foil for Dick the Bruiser and Bob Ellis and those kind of Wilbur Snyder, those kind of guys, because again of his big imposing look and this nasty look he had, and there was always a credibility of the Hart Punch with the fans, in the era of kayfabe, that people believed it was a very dangerous and effective maneuver because people believed the Hart Punch had killed two people in the ring. So Ox, left Indianapolis, kept moving on around the territories. So now we have another audio clip, from 1977, and this is from Ox Baker's time in Florida.
Florida reminded me when I was a big, tough kid. We had a bunch of cinders out in my backyard. We used to play a game that the guy could stand on the top of that hill and knock the other kids down in the cinders and make them roll right out in the alley. He was the toughest kid on the block. Well, that's the way it is in Florida. Ox is what we call king of the hill. And there's a lot of opponents around here that are trying to knock me off that hill. Ox Baker belongs up there, and anybody that needs kicked in the teeth, all they gotta do is try to roll me down that hill. Now, Jack Briscoe, I want you to try it. Jerry Briscoe, I want you to try it. Steve Kern, Dusty Rhodes, anybody that thinks they're man enough to dislodge Ox Baker off the top of that hill, why don't they try it? Because I came to Florida. It seems to be my lucky state. I've had a long string of wins. I'm going to continue that long string. And anybody that wants to take my place, they better get themselves in condition. They better be tough enough to take it. Because I like to dish it out. I don't mind to get hit upside the head myself. I don't mind getting kicked in the stomach as long as I'm king of the hill. Right now, Ox Baker's number one. Everybody else is number two. So get behind me. Try to get me off that hill. And like I say, Florida belongs to me. Here I am on top of the hill. Come and get me, because I'm ready for all of you.
Now, Ox is known for several things, right? Obviously, the Hart Punch, his big size, but it's obviously that look, right? That look with the mustache, the shaved head, the big eyebrows. And this came into play in one of Ox's most infamous moments of his life that lots of people remember by to this day. And it's in 1981, where the general public got to see Ox, some of them obviously for the first time, because Ox Baker appeared on the game show The Price is Right. So here is the audio from Ox Baker with Bob Barker on The Price is Right.
Who's going to join us next?
Bob, is going to be Douglas Baker. Come on down. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right.
Douglas.
How do you do it?
Douglas, I sure hope you're in a good mood today.
I'm in a great mood, Bob.
What does it say there? Big, mean, and ugly.
That's the people that like me.
What does it say on your bag?
My name, Ox. I
Ox
don't want to get
Baker.
lost.
Ox Baker.
Yes, sir.
Ox, what do you do?
I'm a professional wrestler, sir.
And you've probably thrown countless guys out of the ring.
Ooh, I beat them up.
I bet.
Especially if I don't win.
That's what I'm thinking. Ox, if you don't win, I want you to pick up the producer and throw him clear through the wall. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, Ox, then we'll go on. Here comes the next item up for bids right there.
It's a new wall clock. This Hamilton Railroad regulator-style clock is fashioned from solid oak, features an 8-day key wind with Westminster chimes. Truly a conversation piece from the Hamilton Watch Company.
And Douglas, you get to bid on it first.
$215.
$215 to Valerie.
I'll say $495.
$495, and we want to hear from Donna.
$150.
$150. How about it, Rosalie?
$400.
$400. The actual retail price is $350, and Ox is the winner. Yes, Ox.
Now the best two-looking men in the world are on this stage right now.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Ox. Now, Ox, I want to give you all of these prizes. I really do.
A range, a wicker desk and chair, a stereo, and a Franklin fireplace. First, this early American-style Franklin fireplace with energy-saving glass doors makes a beautiful addition to any decor. It's made of solid cast iron by Atlanta Stoveworks. Second is a range. A Tappan self-cleaning convection air gas range designed to save energy. Featuring automatic pilotless ignition, automatic digital clock to start and stop the oven automatically from Tappan. Next, a wicker desk and chair. From Aaron Brothers Hart March, a handmade desk and chair in white wicker. Be surrounded by beautiful furniture while you balance your budget and splendor with the help of Aaron Brothers Hart March. And finally, a stereo. A Pilot audio tower system with AM/FM stereo tuner, integrated amplifier, record changer, cassette recorder, plus speakers. Pilot, a division of Morse Electro Products Corporation. And there they are, Bob.
They are indeed. Now, Ox, before we go on here, have you ever wrestled in Springfield, Missouri?
Yes, I have. I've been there many times.
At the Shrine Mosque?
Yes, sir. I've been there.
Do you know that when I was in Drury College, I ran the concessions at the Shrine Mosque when they had the wrestling matches there?
That's very good. I might have seen you there when I was younger.
Well, Douglas, I'll bet I was there before you were there. I'm not so sure. I'm not. Where are you from?
I'm from Sedalia, Missouri myself.
Sedalia?
Yes. I have a nice little farm there.
I know the country, and it is beautiful farm country. Let's have those prices out here, please. I want my fellow Missourian to win all four of them.
There.
Yeah, now keep your mind on the game here, Ox. Now, you have to make a better hand for yourself than you leave for the house to win all four prizes, and you do it with the numbers in the prices. Now, which prize do you want to choose first, and we'll check the price?
One of them or two of them?
Take one, and then we'll go on to the next.
Okay, the range to start with.
The range to start with, how much is it? Great, you got a pair of nines, and they're high. Now, choose another one.
The stereo.
How much is the stereo? Ox, you have a pair of nines and a pair of zeros. Now, you can pass the nines and the zeros down to the house and make your hand from the fireplace and the desk, or you can keep the nines and the zeros.
I'm going to pass it.
You're going to pass them down. Okay, let's hope he gets three of a kind. How much is the fireplace? $400. If there's a zero in the price of that desk, you're a winner. How much is the desk? You're a winner. You have zeros. Yes. Congratulations, Ox. Right over there, pick up the winner's purse. Oh, Ox won, and am I glad? We'll be back after these words. Rosalie, it's your spin, and Go ahead, spin the wheel hard. Ox just paid me a high compliment. He said that was the only putt he's ever seen me miss. Maybe that means you don't watch the show as much as you should, Ox, because I've missed others. You have 80 cents. If you go over $1 total, you're out of the game.
I stay.
You stay. Take your place right over there. Ox, you have to beat 80 cents. Go ahead. But I've kept track recently, go ahead and spin it, how many putts, because you'd be surprised how much mail I get. People say, you push it, you're pulling it, you're looking at the girl instead of the ball. Now you have 1 nickel, spin it again, Ox. Spin it again, try to beat 80 cents. You have 5 cents, you're trying to beat 80 cents, and Ox, what you get in this spin will be added to that nickel. Well, 40 cents total, but you've won a lot of prizes. I hope you had fun. Thank you, Ox.
So around the same time, in 1981, around the same time as this appearance on The Price is Right, Ox Baker became a major player, a major figure in the Paphos ICW promotion. And his time there included a very infamous feud with Ronnie Garvin, which that feud really was kind of traveled around to several territories over the next few years, even after ICW closed up and as they moved on. But there was this notorious incident in the ICW with the Ox Baker Ronnie Garvin feud, where Ronnie Garvin stomped on Ox Baker's dentures in the ring during a scuffle. So here's the audio of Ox Baker talking about this, looking back on it, and then this is all from ICW TV. And then it's Ronnie Garvin reflecting on it, and as they watch the footage, explaining what happened and everything else. So here it is from ICW, Ronnie Garvin stomping on Ox Baker's dentures.
Here comes Ox Baker here anyway. Ox Baker's right here. You know, Ronnie Garvin, you are an idiot. I went out for a steak the other day, ordered it, and realized I couldn't eat it. You realize how hungry I was that day watching people eat steak around me? I had to go to the supermarket and get me a can of soup. That's the only... Yeah, it's funny to a lot of people, but Ronnie Garvin, it ain't going to be funny when I get through with you. I love steak, not soup, Ronnie Garvin, and I'm going to... Oh, I don't even want to talk to you, idiot.
I knew we would hear from Ox Baker about that teeth business. We're going to take a look at that incident of what happened, yes. And, in case you missed it last week, we'll show you what happened. This here at the desk is Ronnie Garvin. Before we get to our next match, which is already in the ring, Ronnie, last week a very, very unusual incident happened to you and Ox Baker. Had some confrontations. You got into the ring and literally knocked his false teeth out. Let's take a replay of this match right now and see what's going on here.
Well, you know, Ox Baker last week challenged me. Said he was going to slap my face, and I told him he could very well do that in the ring. And we went into the ring. He's the one that challenged me, so I think he should suffer the consequences.
Here we see how that confrontation began.
Well, he's in the ring. He's challenging me. He's standing in the ring. He wants to slap my face. Well, I told him I was there. He could do it. He stepped into the ring. I went into the ring because I'll fight anybody. I'll accept any challenges. Doesn't mean I'm the best, but I'll do my best. And that's exactly what I did here with Ox Baker. Size is not important to me. Every big man can be brought down.
Ox certainly did not have a chance to hard punch you here.
I blocked his punch. I hit him a couple of times, and I picked him up, give him a slam, and here I'm dropping an elbow across his throat, and his teeth came out of his mouth. And I was very surprised. I seen him laying in the ring, and I was looking at him, and it's kind of a shocking thing to see somebody's teeth laying in the ring.
Only at that point did we realize exactly what had happened. Both Edgar and I speculated that could have been some sort of protective mouthpiece that Ox had him, and when you held him up right there, we did know that it is either the upper or lower portion of a set of false teeth.
At this time here, I was thinking, you know, it just came to my mind, you know, why not crush him? You know, crush him. And here I stepped on him and crushed him, and I'm glad I did. And Ox Baker, if you don't like it, just do something about it, because I'm always available. I accept any challenges. I'm proud to be the Southeastern champion, and I don't mean to be bragging, but I'll fight anybody. And if Ox Baker is man enough to beat me, well, then he can get a title shot.
Now, as we mentioned, the feud with Ox Baker and Ronnie Garvin ran its way through several territories. So now we got some footage, or some audio, of that continuation of that feud. This is in Georgia, though, from 1984. So let's go to that. The continuation of the Ox Baker Ronnie Garvin feud in Georgia from 1984.
Fact of the matter is, he is barred right now from competing here on television. 6'5", 311 pounds, Ox Baker.
You know, this is a great organization, and the first thing they do, they say Ox is too brutal to be on TV. But they can't stop me from going to these house shows. They cannot stop me trying to get that $100,000. Now, I've got this heart punch. 2 men in wrestling have died from this punch, and I can tell you, for $100,000, I can take this Jap with that chop of his and this heart punch, and I can promise you 100,000 big ones. I'm going to knock down a few people, and if they try to get up, I'm going to kick them right in the face.
Well, he's big enough to do it, too. That's the unfortunate aspect about this man.
Ronnie Garvin, you know I want to cut your hair, you little runt. You come up there and take a couple punches upside the head. You're not tough enough for Ox Baker. I'm going to shave your head. I'm going to embarrass. You're just a little runt, a little pig spit. You call yourself the buzzsaw. Garvin, you've never felt this here hard punch on TV. You little sawed-off runt. You ain't going to do...
Wait a minute. What have we got going on here? Ox Baker charging into the ring against Ronnie Garvin, and Garvin exploding. And so is Ox Baker. Ox Baker, 6'5", 311 pounds. And here's 6 going here. Forget about the rules, regulations, and what have you. And again, it's Bob Roop charging the ring. And wait a minute. Ron Starr has just gone over there. And Ronnie Garvin. They've got Garvin, and they're trying to put that shaving cream on him. They're trying to cut his hair. And wow, like Ron Ritchie and Brian Anita can tell you. And wait a second. They got part of that mutton. They got part of the mutton chops.
So later in the year in 1984, Ox moved on again from Georgia, and he wound up in Memphis. And in Memphis, he was managed by Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart was referring to the Hart Punch now as the Jimmy Hart Punch. And the mission was, for Jimmy Hart using Ox Baker to try to eliminate Jerry Lawler, of course, right? That was the purpose there, as was the purpose of everything Jimmy Hart almost did, was the elimination of Jerry Lawler in Memphis. So here is some audio. Ox Baker with Jimmy Hart from 1984 in Memphis, Tennessee.
From now on, you can call it Jimmy Hart's Hard Punch. Come here, big man. Come here, Ox. Woo!
Yeah, I know you're all proud of it. It wouldn't be the first place that they outlawed the Hard Punch.
You know, I want to tell you people a story. 4 short years ago, 2 men took me down in the ring. They hyperextended both of my legs and tore my cartilages. For 1 solid year, I laid like a big goof in a Hollywood bed. Nobody came to visit me, no cards. And finally one day, a goofy doctor come up there with his bill, and he said, Ox, I've got to tell you something. You know, you're not an old man yet, but the way your legs are, you'll be lucky to walk again, let alone wrestle. You know, I felt sorry for myself that night, but then I realized that if I came up with a weapon in wrestling, that I could overcome all these people. So I want to tell them, and I want them to listen very good. As I laid in that bed, these 2 guys deliberately tore my legs up and almost made me a crippled. I might not have been able to walk for the rest of my life. So I said, if they can hurt me that way, why can't I hurt somebody else? So all I can tell all these people, Jerry Lawler, Austin Idol, Eddie Marlin, anybody, if I raise this Hart Punch and knock you down and you don't get back up, too bad.
Late in his career, Ox continued to make appearances, especially in the Midwest, where he was always a draw, always an attraction here in the Midwest. So around 1986, we have some audio here. In 1986, he appeared for Spike Huber's short-lived PAWA PAWA is this fascinating piece of wrestling history to me, and something that I really feel like sometime I'm going to try to dive into an episode just on the PAWA and really explore it. It's Spike Huber. It's late in the WWA days, but Spike Huber attempting to kind of, I don't know, run opposition to Dick the Bruiser, take over somewhat, or run some towns maybe that Bruiser had kind of let down. They did some TV tapings in French Lick. They did have, guys like Bruiser Brody in and different things. Spike Huber did a construction worker type thing. It's the PAWA. It's just fascinating to me. It really, really is. Their interviewer was Lou Thez. And again, I hope sometime, I think I'm going to do an episode just on the PAWA and really dive into it and explore it and talk to some people, because it's a very curious piece of Midwest professional wrestling history. But here is Ox Baker from the PAWA from 1986 being interviewed by the great Lou Thez.
We have a unique, loquacious, very interesting person with us today, and the man has been all over the world. He's wrestled everywhere, and he certainly is a man of he's a style maker. He does his own thing, and it seems the rest of the world just follows him. May I introduce Mr. Ox Baker?
You know, the other night, my opponent, they carried him to the dressing room after I knocked him down. He was crying and moaning. He wanted someone to touch his body. And I said, don't worry, fella. You wrestled the best there is, the fantastic Ox Baker. 20 years ago, this man here knocked me down and said, Ox, you're going to have to learn. So I got this hard punch, and for 20 years, I've been knocking people down. And I've been enjoying every minute of it. Now, there's a new era of wrestling, and Ox Baker, again, has to prove he's the greatest wrestling machine put together. Now, these young kids, you seen this little musclehead was out here a second ago. He's showing his muscles to all the goofy women out there. Well, I don't show my muscles to anybody. I don't go out to the snotty-nosed kids and sign their autographs. I go out there and beat somebody up. I've learned it for 20 years to knock somebody down and then kick them in the face to make sure they stay down. Yes, wrestling is a tough business. And if you don't want to put out, if you don't want to lose a tooth the odd night, 19 teeth were knocked out of my mouth the first year that I wrestled. But did I quit or go home to my mother and do the dishes with her? No. I stayed in wrestling because I like to beat people up. I stayed in wrestling because I could prove to myself I could get arrested for what I do inside of the ring if I did it outside of the ring. But I do it in a square circle. I don't care if these muscleheads, these good-looking kids with their medals, all I tell them is, if you want to get knocked down, if you want to get punished, if you want to feel this hard punch upside of your body, then step in the ring with Ox Baker. I wish you still had your trunks. But I want to tell you people something. This is a new era of wrestling, and Ox Baker is still here. Yes, they say they got some tough competition here. I could name 100 names, but I'll tell you right now, the toughest man in wrestling is standing right in front of this TV. And if I have to prove it, if I have to walk over somebody's body, if I have to knock somebody down and rip a tooth out of his body, that's exactly what I'll do. Because one thing that Ox Baker has been doing for 20 years, and I'll do it for 20 more years, and I want you all to listen. I don't want you to turn your TV set off. I don't want you to get your comic books with peanut butter. I love to hurt people.
I think he does. Thank you very much. You've heard from Ox Baker, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. I'll tell you, he's been a big, tough man. He's hurt a lot of people in wrestling with that hard punch. Yes, he has. He's actually killed 2 people. And this is a strange thing because I've wrestled all my life, and I've never, witnessed anyone really being killed as a wrestler. And this fellow seems to enjoy doing it, and he likes to put people out of commission so they're out of their wrestling game.
Well, he brags. He loves to hurt people. Well, I've seen him hurt people, and if anyone can do it, this Ox, he's a formidable opponent and a guy that I'm going to have to keep my eye out for.
Well, you really must. You really must, because he's got a really cute shot. He isn't that fast, and he doesn't move around like some of the youngsters. But if he gets a shot in on you, you've got a problem.
You're hurting, that's for sure. And I'll tell you, this Ox, he puts that hammer down on you in the chest there, you know you've been hit.
He's heavy, over 300 pounds.
That's right. You say he's not fast, but he doesn't need to be fast as big as he is.
Bulldozer.
That's
Yes,
right.
Certainly is.
Oh.
And I don't know why he relishes it, but he likes to get the youngsters, the young boys that really probably could develop into something really worthwhile, and he likes to put them out of commission and discourage them.
That's right, and that, it's bad for the wrestling because you got young guys who are excited about wrestling. They get in with a guy like this, and
it's a disillusion, I'm sure.
That's right. Oh, man. Look at his chest.
He's really hammering this man. I mean, it's just pink, ready for the blood to come up.
Yeah. Did you see the hard punch?
I saw it.
That's
raise
exactly,
the arm, right.
That's exactly. Oh.
Again, the same shot right there. That's bad. Bad news.
Well, the Ox won, but I'll tell you, with that hard punch, it really doesn't.
Yeah, Oxbaker won the match, but I'm like you, I'm not proud of him.
He could have cradled him or slammed him or something. He didn't have to use the
He kept stomping him in the same area, in the hard area there. But it's not a very good thing to do, because it could put the man away.
Yes. Well,
Exactly what's going to happen to you.
Well, he's always challenging me, but we'll bypass that and we'll get on to the next matches. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say that it's a pleasure to introduce this new guest, old guest, whatever, but I'm going to introduce him anyway, Mr. Oxbaker.
You know, the promoter just came up to me with his silk shorts on and said, Ox, if I knew that you was a loudmouth that you were, I might have not have signed a exclusive contract. But he did. He signed the fantastic Oxbaker to a contract, so again, I can beat somebody up. Twice in the last 20 years, I've hit people and they died in the ring. That's the kind of meanness that Oxbaker has. You know, this Phillips came in the dressing room a few minutes ago, wanted me to teach him a wrestling hold. Well, I need him. I don't want people in the dressing room talking to me. I'm not here to help young kids learn how to wrestle. Now, if he said he wanted to be mean and slap his mother, I'd have showed him a couple of holds. You know, Oxbaker's been in wrestling 20 years, and it's not been easy. I've had to take punishment over the years that you wouldn't believe, but I took that punishment. Yes, I dish out punishment in that ring. I show people that it's not all fun and games, that you just don't buy a $5 pair of shoes and a pair of trunks and call yourself a wrestler. You've got to be mean. You've got to be tough. Can you imagine a few minutes ago, this here guy with all the muscles, someone should have blew his nose. He was crying up there, Paul Christie put the sleeper on me. Look, boy, if you can't take it, you never turn your back on anybody. I don't like anybody in wrestling. Nobody says they're a friend of Oxbaker. I'm not in it to make friends. Don't come up with your mother in a wheelchair or your little kids looking for autographs, because I don't give autographs. The only thing that I do, I knock people down. And Spike Huber, you talk about a contest for that heavyweight belt. Spike, I was not in that contest. I think this lousy promoter, who doesn't like me one bit, just gave you that belt. But somewhere down the line, you got to get that body of yours in a ring with me, and I'm going to beat you for that belt, because the greatest wrestling machine should be in wrestling. I talk about dishing out punishment. I want to show you how I take punishment. Can you take a chair like this here and bang it out on your head? Well, I can. Yes, I hurt people, and I take punishment. 19 teeth and you knocked a few out loose there. But one thing I do, I raise his hard punch and knock the breath out of their body, because I love to hurt people, and I'm going to hurt you, Spike.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you just heard and also seen Oxbaker, a unique character, if nothing else.
I hate you.
Thank you very much.
So even after Ox retired from professional wrestling, he continued to make a lot of appearances, continued to be an attraction, doing some convention signings, different things like that. There's a whole aspect of Ox's life and career where he's also did a lot of acting. Most notably, he played the character Slag in Kurt Russell's Escape from New York in this fight scene. And again, this is all due to Ox knowing where his strengths lied, and that is in his talking and, of course, his size and appearance. And he knew how to market himself and how to utilize that uniqueness that he had and that character that he had developed to have a successful career. Ox died on October 20th, 2014 in Hartford, Connecticut due to complications from a heart attack. And a lot of people, when they look back on Ox Baker, the first things that come to mind for a lot of people out there is that Ox Baker couldn't work, right? He was horrible in the ring. There's lots of matches where it's rough, right? And Ox just, he couldn't, right? They say he was not talented as a wrestler, as a technician or whatever. And I don't think, Ox never argued that. And I don't think anybody would ever make that argument, but that's not what made Ox Baker who he was. For those of us who watched a lot of him when we were young, in our territories and on our TVs, Ox was terrifying, right? He was this scary-looking monster. And, I didn't give 2 cents whether he could do a suplex or a lot of wrist locks. I knew that he could knock your head off, and if he caught you with the heart punch, you might die. That was my thinking as a kid. And, and that's what Ox, again, made a lot of money, had a long career, very successful career, both in the ring and in acting, based on utilizing where his strengths were and knowing what his weaknesses were. And that was, to me, that's what was so beautiful about the territory days, that not everybody had to be this great wrestler, right? You could be a character with a look and a monster and have a distinctive strength and still have a successful career. Not everybody was a 5-tool player. And Ox knew that, right? And he utilized that. And I think Ox Baker's a great character. I think he's a great villain, a great monster, one of the great characters in professional wrestling history. He also had the knock of rubbing people the wrong way because he was loud and he was boisterous and he was very, wanted all the attention on him in the locker room and stuff and like that. So, I think sometimes in certain locker rooms, certain territories, that might have rubbed certain people the wrong way. But that's life, right? That's how, human interaction works a lot of times. But again, there's a little look back at Ox Baker and his career. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We like to tie in lots of classic audio. Again, we don't go too in-depth where we give 30 million dates and really trace his career. We give you an overview of what Ox Baker, the character was like, and then just give you some high points from some of his stops along the way. But we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we will close up this episode, so stick around. If you are looking for the best books, DVDs, and posters on classic wrestling nostalgia, then you want to visit crowbarpress.com. There are literally dozens of titles there, including biographies of the likes of Bruiser Brody, Ole Anderson, Ivan Koloff, and of course, Dick the Bruiser, as we've spoke about here on the Dave Dynasty Show. You want to visit crowbarpress.com for all of your classic wrestling nostalgia needs. Again, that is crowbarpress.com. Thank you for joining us today on the Dave Dynasty Show, as we look back and remember Ox Baker. And remember, whatever platform you do choose to listen to the show on, make sure you subscribe to us. And if you use iTunes, leave us a rating and review. Follow us on social media. Earlier in the episode, we covered where you can find us. Make sure you share a post and interact with us on there. Make sure you support us. Keep the show free. Best ways to do that is ProWrestlingTees.com/The Dave Dynasty. Buy a shirt, a little something for you, a little something for us. Or you can make one-time financial contributions to the show at PayPal.me/The Dave Dynasty. Or you can make ongoing monthly contributions at Patreon.com/The Dave Dynasty. Remember, that's how you keep this show free for you every week with all the great coverage of Midwest wrestling history and the current scene. Make sure you check us out at some of those dates that we mentioned earlier in the episode that we're going to be at. If you see us there, come up, say hi, take a picture, and let's help spread the word on Midwest professional wrestling in the Midwest Express. And that's it. Next week we have a great show. We have Unchained Brandon Day, the current Powerbomb Wrestling champion, to be on to talk about his 20-year career. He's a great guy, great talent. A guy, if you have not heard of him, you should. So check out next week and listen to him. We also have Joshua Gatton on next week to talk to us a little bit about his movement that he is heading up called Recognize Your Worth. It's a cool thing. You're going to want to hear that. That's next week on the Dave Dynasty Show. But until then, in everything you do, wherever you go, be good, be safe, and keep on growing.